Hey guys, I'm Miss K. I'm an English teacher by day, and by night I read a heck of a lot of books, and I started a YouTube channel to share my thoughts and opinions on the books I read with you. Today's book we are reading is Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Very popular book, first book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. But before we get into that, we need to discuss the 3 things that make any piece of literature a really good book. There are 3 things we have to remind ourselves in the world of books. 1 is character. If you do not have adequate character development and a character profile from beginning to end of the book, then your characters will be flat, one note, and they will not act like real people. 2 is world building. This is the universe that your characters live in. And the 3rd one can overshadow both of the others if not done correctly. That is style, word choice, and vocabulary. If you don't have the ability to actually say what you want to say, it doesn't matter how good of an idea it is. Doesn't matter how complex character you have. It doesn't matter if the world is the best that's ever been in existence. If you can't say what you want to say, then it doesn't matter. With that, let's get into The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Now, this is a pretty good book. Our male character, his name is Rowan. Our female character, she is Zasha. Now, Rowan is the director of a place called Dreamland. Now, Dreamland is based on Disney. So much so that it is even centered down in Orlando, Florida, both the Disney and the actual book here. Now, Rowan does not want to be there. Rowan is there because his grandfather left him the spot as director of Dreamland in his will. Rowan kind of sees it as a chore. He doesn't like being away from Chicago. He only has to be there for 6 months, so he says he's going to go there, make the best of it, fulfill his grandfather's wishes, and in 6 months' time, he will be back in Chicago where he wants to be. Now, Zasha is a creator at Dreamland. She designs different theme park rides, different initiatives. However, she can't draw a gosh darn thing. So Rowan meets Zasha and decides he's going to help her boost her creativity, so to speak, to give her ideas more life. He can draw very well, I might add, but she cannot. So he assumes a fake identity and begins drawing for Zasha. Well, that doesn't last very long. Zasha finds out that this guy she's been talking to via text, his name is Scott, that's actually Rowan, and she proceeds to hate Rowan for about 3 to 4 chapters. Now, Rowan doesn't understand why he doesn't want her to hate him. He kind of sees it as, well, I could just easily forget about Zasha, but I don't want to. That would be like a failure, and that is not what Rowan does. Rowan is not a failure. He comes from a very long line of successful businessmen. So he's not going to let this one slip through his fingers. He decides to pursue Zasha, and amazingly, she gives him a second chance. Why she gives him a second chance after lying to her face, I don't know. But she does. And that is how their romantic relationship starts. Rowan makes it adamant that she shouldn't develop feelings for him. This is a no strings attached, purely physical relationship. But of course that doesn't last. As we get closer to the end of the book, Zasha realizes that Rowan was never intent on staying at Dreamland, that it was all a farce, and she believes that everything he had with her was a farce, therefore making their relationship null and void, and she dumps his broke butt. I can't blame her for that. Now, Rowan, on the other hand, seems crushed. I don't know why, because he made it very clear up to this moment that this was all still temporary, that he was not going to stay around. And at the end, he proceeds to create this empire sort of in her name. He comes up with an idea and presents it to the board after a few months of being separated. He presents it to the board, and Zasha is invited to be there. He comes up with initiatives for employees with disabilities in honor of Zasha's sister who has Down syndrome. He comes up with initiatives to renovate the Dreamland's most famous ride, its oldest ride, the Nebula, which was Zasha's primary idea. Everything about his plan to revitalize Dreamland parks is made in her honor. And she really finds that attractive, I suppose, and ultimately gets with him in the last chapter. So that's the second to last chapter. Last chapter, boom, fast forward 4 years, they're married with 2 kids. It's unexpected, but also like I could see it coming a mile away. This book reads like a very typical office romance. There's not a whole lot of plot twists here. It's really, I wouldn't call this a steamy book. I would call this a mushy book. It is a romance novel. It is not something that you read if you're like me. I'm into high fantasy and fiction. I don't prefer typical office romance. It's all right if you want a mushy read that's quick and easy to do. This perhaps was not my favorite, just because I got about 50 pages in and I knew exactly where it was going and what the plot was going to be. So my rating for this particular book is a 7 out of 10. It's not my favorite. I probably won't read the rest of the Dreamland Billionaires series, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think of The Fine Print by Lauren Asher? And do you think it's worth reading the rest of the Dreamland Billionaire series? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more book reviews. Make sure you like the video if you particularly like this book and you want me to read the rest of it. Until next time, guys, I'll see you. Happy reading.